And my topic is just introduction of ICU, HDU, what are the differences, and the actual science will start after my talk. Uh, there is no sort of interest. Okay. First of all, what is I will try to finish within 25 or 30 minutes. First of all, what is ICU or HDU? I will discuss these things in next few minutes. Some admission and discharge policy, immediate management of critically ill patient, general care of patient. ICU scoring system is very important, and ventilation protocols, management of sepsis and ARDS. Uh, all these topics will be covered by separate speakers, but I just wanted to introduce you that these things are important in ICU, and we have to take care of all these things, which is not possible in ward, like acute renal and acute liver failure, hematological support, nutritional protocol, and in the end, few slides of assessment and management of critically ill patients. Okay, what is ICU or HDU? It is a place where you can provide care which is not possible in the ward. And what are the cares which we will discuss in next few minutes. And there are different types of ICU, like surgical ICU, in which only surgical patients are being admitted, medical ICU, in which medical patients like hepatic failure or renal failure or stroke, patients come in coma care ICUs, cardiac ICUs, neurosurgical ICUs, PEDS ICU, neonatal ICU, etc. It is all because you should know the differences of these ICU. The facilities which we provide in these ICUs are nearly same, and HDU is same except there is no ventilator facility. When you should go and start work in ICU, you should know these things, and this is very important. A room on which it is written that it is ICU is not ICU. There is some structure of ICU, like there should be a reception, there should be a consultant sitting area, unit, doctor rest area, paramedics room, counseling room, discussion room or meeting room, where we can discuss the patient daily. Dry round can be can there, and changing area for the paramedics and doctors. There should be a pharmacy, separate room for pharmacy, separate room for linen, equipment room, and separate area for dirty linen and medical waste. Uh, these things are important to set up a ICU. Maybe few of you after this course may start some ICU. Initially start some ICU. So you should know these things should be provided by the government or owners. The structure of ICU, maybe it is a big hall or setup of separate rooms, but all beds are monitors visible from the nursing counter. It is important. Otherwise, it is not an ICU. You should monitor patient directly. It can be by central monitor or by separate monitors. And there should be some oxygen supply, which is the central is ideal. And sometime I know so many ICUs in the Sindh that they do not have central line of oxygen. They use manifold, which is gas oxygen, and by central line they can use liquid and gas both. And uh, we should have liquid oxygen for ICUs. But if it is not available, we can use manifold as well. Line of air with the oxygen line, it should be supplied with the central supply, or it is necessary to drive ventilator or for some suction. The staff should be consultant, some medical officers, quality control officer, very important person of ICU. Paramedics includes staff nurses, respiratory therapists, technologists, ward boys, X-ray technician, janitorial staff, security officer, and so many, like IT officers and so many. But it is not necessary that if these all of them are not present, you cannot start ICU. You can start ICU without any without some of them, but if all of them are there, it is a good. There should be some admission policy. If today we are talking about COVID patients, so when patients is coming to your HDU or ICU, they should be COVID positive, and they need oxygen support if it is not possible in the ward. Otherwise, it is not necessary that they should come to the ICU. Sometimes they need ventilatory support. That is why they are coming here. Need any other medical support, or COVID positive patient, operative patient who needs ICU or HDU care. The faculty who should run this ICU, the faculty should be general medicine or medical intensivist. They should be overall in charge of this. They should doing administrative and clinical work all. Some infectious disease doctors are important, and they will see patient in relation to COVID-19 disease process. Anesthetists are important person of ICU. Their duty should be intubation and all related with ventilation. Radiologist and pathology, laboratory medicine, surgery if required in these patients. And basically it is a teamwork which should be led by medical people, and everybody should do their work. The discharge policy is when primary pathology is under control, hemodynamically patient is stable, comorbidity is under control and approved by critical care consultant. Then patient should go from ICU or HDU to the ward. And medication potential problems, invasive lines, drains, catheter, discussed with ward doctors team before discharge of patient. General care of ICU patient, what we do in ICU. Basically, we do all these things like review and trend of response of therapy daily, and maybe after 2 hours or 3 hours if required. And general hygiene like hygiene of skin, mouth, hair, etc. Postural changes, drains, and care of drains and catheters, vigilant in intake output monitoring, infection control, DVT prophylaxis. These are the work we should do in ICU daily, twice or thrice. And these things are not possible in ward. That is why ICU setup is must, and patient should be looked after here. While doing monitoring, the CVS monitoring is most important. It can be non-invasive and invasive, and whichever is required for this patient. And in which we see pulse, blood pressure, systolic, diastolic, and MAP. All these three things are important. ECG, cardiac output, and central venous pressure. All these things are important in these patients. In respiratory system, respiratory rate, arterial oxygen saturation, and ventilator setting, change in ventilator, the change in modes. You will learn these things in a different lecture. Hematological support, in which if there is bleeding, and we should take care of it. Renal support, renal urine output per hour is important. When the patient is in ICU, per hour urine output is important. In ward, we can see this after 6 hours or 12 hours reading. But when patient is in ICU or HDU, urine output per hour is important because of the perfusion pressure of different organs. Fluid and electrolyte balance. This is also very important. We should see what are the intakes. Intakes is by IV routes, whatever the fluid. Fluid is maybe colloid, crystalloid, blood, FFP, or whatever it is. We should all calculate IV route fluid, enteral route, which is mostly nutrition, which we give to these patients, and fluid like crystalloid, colloid, which I have already mentioned, and some IV drugs. It is also important because all these is intake. And while we are taking output, it is urine, drains, skin, respiration, feces, soap dressing, etc., NG aspiration. These are very simple things, but I think it is important to mention all these things because ये चीजें रह जाती हैं और intake output ठीक नहीं होता. And in these patient, COVID patient, fluid management is very important. If you see this here, 60% of body weight is fluid. That is why fluid balance is very important. if you see that 5% is in the blood plasma, and of this 60%, and 15% is in interstitial space, and 40% is in the intercellular space. And while you are transfusing fluid, you are giving it in the blood vessel, and trying to push this fluid towards the cell. So it is very important to know the which fluid is important in this patient. What is the hemoglobin? What is the protein level? What is the hemodynamics? And after that, you will decide what fluid is important in this patient. Like electrolytes, you can see electrolyte, some electrolytes are important in extracellular fluid and some in intracellular fluid. Like sodium is mostly in extracellular fluid here, and it is very less in intracellular fluid. If you are giving sodium in intravascular space, like by IV line, and you think this sodium is in here, it stay here. It stay here. But if you are talking about potassium, potassium is more in intracellular space, and you are giving potassium into the vessel and thinking that this potassium is going in its right place, that is intracellular space. So while you are transfusing all these things, these electrolytes, these metabolites, you should be very careful. And these are the management which you offer in ICU. Like when inotropic support, there are some list of inotropes like digoxin, dobutamine, dopamine, norepinephrine, and different things. And while you are treating patient in ICU, you should know which patient needs which inotropes. There will be a separate lecture about it. Then the ICU scoring system. All these things you should do daily. ICU scoring system is Glasgow Coma Scale. In this, you can see the eye-opening response, verbal response, and motor response. And the chart is already, most of the time chart is already in the ICU, and you should remember it as well. You daily, twice a day, you should do Glasgow Coma Scale and write it down on the page or whatever another system is Apache 2 scoring system, in which you can see acute physiology and chronic health evaluation. We usually do it in septic cases, and this is very good scoring system, and you don't have to remember it. All these things are written on the book, and this chart should be available in the ICU. And when the patient came with the sepsis, you count his or her score and predict what is the mortality rate in this patient. And next day you again do it and then again predict. Yeah, another thing is Q-SOFA scoring, in which this is relatively new, in which hypotension, and you see three things: altered mental status, hypotension, systolic BP is if less than 100 mmHg, tachypnea, which is respiratory rate more than 22 per minute. If it is so, then you can predict that sepsis-related organ failure is assessment. Then these things are available in all HDU and ICU, and it should be available. While you are organizing an ICU, you should make available all these things. Like if you think the patient needs oxygen, then you decide nasal cannula is advisable, Hudson mask is advisable, Venturi mask, non-rebreathing mask, or T-piece in this patient. In COVID patient whose saturation is sometime 98 or maybe 94, maybe 90 or 88, which one is advisable? There are some advantages and disadvantages of all these things, and that you can predict that, like Venturi. This is Venturi, the colored thing on the screen. This is Venturi mask, and while using this Venturi mask, आप exactly बता सकते हैं कि how much oxygen is being delivered to the patient, how much percentage of oxygen, like 28%, 30%, 34%, 35%. And another thing, that this is mask with a bag, in which this bag is usually filled with the oxygen, and while patient is inspiring, nearly 95 to 100% oxygen is going to the patient. If it is full with oxygen and the valve is working and patient is breathing well, it is very good device to increase FiO2 to the patient. Some ventilatory protocols like oxygen therapy, some non-invasive ventilation, like patient is not intubated. In COVID patient, recommendation different हैं, लेकिन ये कि इसमें intubation से पहले what you can do, you can oxygenate patient by nasal cannula, mask or venturi, or you can increase oxygen by giving this non-invasive method of ventilation, in which patient is spontaneously breathing awake, tight fitting mask on his face, and ventilator supports each breath. And then when patient is not coping, you have to intubate this patient and put him on ventilator. There are different modes, and which you will learn in another lecture. Management of SARS or sepsis. It is also important to know all these things, because sometimes COVID patient आ रहे with sepsis. इसमें ये सब आपको पता ही होगा, SARS, sepsis, severe sepsis and septic shock. तो ये चार्ट को याद रखना चाहिए कि when it is SARS, when it is sepsis, severe sepsis or septic shock, because the management is different in all these type of things. And when अगर patient इस तरह के आ जाते हैं, तो the first of all is detection, source organ failure, and then secure control in 1 hour, that is give antibiotics in first hour, drainage, that is called removal of sores, and then oxygen or crystalloid therapy, and oxygen and crystalloid therapy. Crystalloid should be 30 ml per kg if MAP is less than 65 or shock index is more than 1. Monitoring MAP more than 65, normovolumia, urine output, lactate clearance. And if it is after all these things, BP नहीं है उसका आ रहा है, so you can give vasoactive drugs like norepinephrine in this patient. These things are not possible in ward. That is why ICU setup is must, and in which आप घंटे उसकी monitoring करते हैं, घंटे उसकी मतलब घंटे से कम में भी करते हैं, और vigilant monitoring and management is only important in HDU or in ICU. These are the organs जो affect हो सकते हैं. Of course, sepsis में जब MOF में patient चला जाता है, तो each and every organ is becomes fail. COVID में initially lung, then heart, then kidney, now CVA भी हो रहा है. तो all these things are important to know कि कौन से organ. Actually body में जितने organ भी होते हैं, सबको एक perfusion चाहिए होती है with good oxygenated blood. And if it is not possible, कोई भी reason हो, if it is not possible, अब कोविड में ये कि lungs में oxygenation नहीं हो रही, thrombus है, ये है वो है, whatever the reason, अगर oxygenated blood is not being provided to the different organs, that organ becomes fail. तो हमारे target ये होना चाहिए कि हमेशा हर वक्त the saturation blood should be, arterial oxygen saturation should be more than 95%. Then it is satisfactory. Sometimes renal support is important in ICU. Patient may go for dialysis or CERT, etc. Hematological support is also important. Hemoglobin is very important to carry oxygen. This is the loading truck. Loading truck अगर नहीं होगा तो oxygen carry नहीं होगा. So you have to increase hemoglobin above 8 or 10, nearly 10. 10 should be the target and 8 तो होना चाहिए. So it creates oncotic pressure, it maintains blood pressure, oxygen carry करता है, DIC control करता है, and the other blood products are also important to give. Nutrition protocol should also be there. इसमें पेशेंट कोविड के पेशेंट आईसीयू आते हैं तो 8-8 10-10 दिन 12 दिन 15 दिन भी होते हैं, तो न्यूट्रिशन इज मस्ट. Enteral route is preferable, always preferable, and parietal route is also there. These are the investigation which is important for daily. कहीं भी आप किसी भी आईसीयू में काम कर रहे हो, चाहे वो कराची हो, सक्खर हो, लाड़काना हो, नवाबशाह हो, जो भी जगह हो, कुछ इन्वेस्टिगेशन डेली करानी पड़ती हैं, जिसमें से CPSR, ICU, कैल्शियम, मैग्नीशियम etc. And bus CS या blood CS is after 2 or 3 days as required. And X-ray chest is important in COVID patient, ultrasound chest, abdomen, CT scan, MRI, all these things are important, but ये daily के test नहीं है. Assessment of critically ill patient, बस दो और तीन slide हैं. First of all, if you are called to see a COVID patient, there should be a documentary proof that this patient is COVID positive. Then prepare yourself. आपको बगैर किसी अपनी protection के you should not go to see any COVID patient. It is PPE, personal protective equipment. It includes properly fitted 95 mask or FFP or mask or KN95, whatever is available to you. Goggles, whole body covering gown, cap, shoe cover, gloves, face shield, etc. And when you go to see any critically ill patient, always go with ABC. ABC ये तो याद रखना ही है, कभी भूलना नहीं है. A is for airway, breathing, circulation, and disability exposure. For airway, if patient is collapsed, so you should go for to see the airway, clear airway, chin lift, jaw thrust. You can see the picture. And for breathing, only from you can see the patient is breathing or not. Is there any effort? Is there any agonal breathing? And for circulation, see carotid pulse. Generally, अगर आपको बुलाया गया आपने कोविड के पेशेंट को कि see this patient and shift to the ICU or HDU, initially जाते हैं आप देखते हैं पेशेंट रेस्टलेस है, इसका मतलब ये कि एयरवे तो उसका शायद क्लियर होगा. Maybe he is hypoxic. Because of hypoxia, he is restless. There is increased respiratory rate and increased heart rate, and history of fever or dry cough or traveling or exposure to COVID patient. Then you shift this patient to HDU or ICU, जो भी जगह इसके लिए possible हो, available हो. और ICU जाके क्या करना है, ये चीज़ें आपको मैंने बताई अभी कि आईसीयू में जाकर के 30 थिंग्स जो कि पहले मैंने बताई वो चीज़ें होनी चाहिए और वो आपको देना चाहिए. क्या? प्रोवाइड 5 लीटर ऑक्सीजन per minute oxygen by Hudson mask. Start with this. Apply basic monitor like pulse oximeter and IBP to see the basic status of the patient. And reassure patient. Patient hypoxic है, restless है और उसको पता है कि कोविड का आउटकम अच्छा नहीं है और मुझे आईसीयू ले जाया गया और मे बी मुझे इंटूबेट कर दें. तो reassure patient and proper patient, call urgent chest x-ray, monitor carefully for oxygenation and then respond accordingly. अब ये एक छोटा सा चार्ट है, अगर नजर आ रहा है तो इसमें है तो ये बड़ा अच्छा, अगर समझ में आ जाए पूरा. ये मैंने 2020 मार्च के एक आर्टिकल से कहीं से लिया है. इसमें हाइपोक्सिया अगर हो रहा है तो इंडिकेशन फॉर एंडोट्रेकियल इंट्यूबेशन आती यस है तो इंट्यूबेट कर दें पेशेंट को. डू नॉट डिले इंट्यूबेशन. इफ यू सी देयर इज इंडिकेशन ऑफ इंट्यूबेशन, अगर देयर इज नो इंडिकेशन ऑफ इंट्यूबेशन देन टॉलरेटिंग सप्लीमेंटल ऑक्सीजन यस अगर है तो डू इट. टारगेट आपका होना चाहिए 92 to 96% ऑफ ऑक्सीजन. दिस शुड बी योर टारगेट. If it is patient is not tolerating, no, to consider high frequency nasal cannula. उससे भी अगर टॉलरेट नहीं कर रहे हैं तो इंडिकेशन फॉर इंट्यूबेशन, गो फॉर इंट्यूबेशन. दिस इज वेरी गुड चार्ट एंड वेरी रिसेंट एंड थोड़ा सा देखने में बड़ा लग रहा है बट बहुत आसान है अगर इसको आप गौर से देखें. जब पेशेंट को आईसीयू में शिफ्ट करा दिया तो these things are important to do, like maintain IV line, continuous supply of oxygen, apply all monitors, send investigation like blood, urine and X-ray chest, change clothing according to protocol and urinary catheterization. इसके बाद क्या होगा? इसके बाद बकिया सारे लेक्चर्स होंगे, वो बताएंगे पेशेंट को हाउ टू वेंटिलेट, हाउ टू सेडेट, हाउ टू पैरालाइज, हाउ टू सेट मॉनिटर्स एंड ऑल दीज थिंग्स. थैंक यू वेरी मच. इज देयर एनी क्वेश्चन?
Thank you, Dr. Thank you, Dr. Safia, for the excellent presentation. कोई क्वेश्चंस आए हैं हमारे पास. एक हमारे आखान से आया है कि आखान में आईसीयू का प्रोटोकॉल है कि जीसीएस मॉनिटरिंग एवरी आवर कर रहे होते हैं, और जब पेशेंट एक्सट्यूबेट हो जाता है तो 2 आवर्ली, और वार्ड में भी अगर पेशेंट को मॉनिटरिंग चाहिए तो 4 आवर्ली. तो उनका क्वेश्चन है कि यू सेड इन योर प्रेजेंटेशन के 2 दफा करें दिन में, तो क्या प्रोटोकॉल का कोई चेंज आया है, वो पूछ रहे हैं.
नहीं, प्रोटोकॉल का चेंज तो ऐसा नहीं आया है. ये डिफरेंट सेटअप के डिफरेंट प्रोटोकॉल होते हैं. अब जिस आईसीयू में मैं काम करती हूँ, हम लोग 6 हार्डली करते हैं वहाँ पर. तो ये डिपेंड कि कौन सा आईसीयू. मैंने शुरू में बताया था सर्जिकल आईसीयू, मेडिकल आईसीयू, कोमा केयर. तो कोमा केयर में अगर स्ट्रोक का पेशेंट है तो उसका कुछ अलग प्रोटोकॉल होगा. तो हर एक का एक थोड़ा सा अलग होता है. इसमें इतनी कोई खास बात नहीं है. आपको अगर पेशेंट अवेक है, जागा हुआ है, तो इतना बार बार करने की जरूरत नहीं है. लेकिन अगर नहीं है तो है.
ठीक. अच्छा, एक और क्वेश्चन था कि अगर कोई बेसिक आईसीयू सेटअप करना हो, कोई विलेज सेटअप, डिस्ट्रिक्ट हॉस्पिटल का सेटअप हो जहाँ पे अभी आईसीयू नहीं है और अभी कोविड केस पे हम आईसीयू सेट करना चाह रहे हो, तो बेसिक, मोस्ट बेसिक अपार्ट फ्रॉम वेंटिलेटर, क्या क्या रिक्वायरमेंट आपके हिसाब से?
मुझे अच्छी तरह अंदाजा था कि इस तरह के क्वेश्चन जरूर होगा, और मैं एड्रेस उन्हीं से कर रही हूँ. इसीलिए मैंने शुरू में 3-4 स्लाइड दी थी कि हाउ टू सेट आईसीयू. क्योंकि मुझे पता चला था कि ये छोटी छोटी जगहों पे भी इनको एचडीयू बनाना है. आईसीयू तो नहीं बना सकते, एचडीयू बना सकते हैं. एचडीयू में क्या है कि अब जैसे मैंने बताया कि 4-5-6 कमरे तो जरूरी हैं कि डॉक्टर्स की जगह हो, स्टूडेंट्स की जगह हो, कंसल्टेंट की जगह हो. ना भी हो तो कंसल्टेंट डॉक्टर एक कमरे में बैठ सकता है, लेकिन देयर शुड बी अ सेपरेट रूम विद कंटिन्यूस सप्लाई ऑफ ऑक्सीजन एंड मॉनिटर. और पैरामेडिक शुड बी ट्रेन जो कि इनकी मॉनिटरिंग कर सके और ऑक्सीजनेशन की मॉनिटरिंग कर सके. अब देखिए, जिस तरह डिफरेंट मीटिंगों में जाती हूँ, मुझे पता है कि इतने वेंटिलेटर ना अवेलेबल है, ना होंगे. ठीक है, तो हम लोग से ये कहा जा रहा है कि इस तरह का सेटअप करते हैं पूरे दिन में कि पेशेंट कम से कम ऑक्सीजनेट अच्छा हो जाए. और अच्छी बात ये इस डिजीज की, पेशेंट को बहुत सारे तो वैसे ही ठीक हो जाते हैं, घरों में ही आइसोलेशन में, क्वारंटीन में ठीक हो रहे हैं. और बहुत सारों को सिर्फ ऑक्सीजन की अच्छी सप्लाई हो जाए तो ठीक हो जाते हैं. तो बिल्कुल वो शुरू की स्लाइड्स में उसमें बिल्कुल एक आईसीयू सेटअप की ही मैंने बात करी थी. इस तरह से भी हो सकता है.
ठीक है. और एक और क्वेश्चन है कि हाई फ्लो ऑक्सीजन जो है, क्या इसके लिए कैनुला, नेजल कैनुला यूज करें या मास्क यूज करें, बेहतर क्या होगा?
नेजल कैनुला से ही करते हैं ज़्यादातर. लेकिन ये क्या डिपेंड्स कि आपके पास अवेलेबल क्या है. मुझे ये भी पता है कि अवेलेबल बहुत सारी चीज़ें नहीं है, बहुत सारी चीज़ें अवेलेबल नहीं है. तो जब अवेलेबल नहीं है तो फिर आपके पास जो होगा वही देना पड़ेगा. जी.
ठीक है. थैंक यू डॉक्टर
थैंक यू.
थैंक यू सो मच.